right, we're skipping the intro because this news is just too big. Wolverine is back. Wolverine is back. Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine. Massive bomb drop. The internet
Woo!
exploded. Everybody's losing their minds. Three amigos are back here.
Hell
Chris,
yeah.
Anthony, Frankie, guys, this is huge. We knew Deadpool 3 was coming. We did not know what it was going to be about, and somehow Kevin Feige, I don't know if he had a GoFundMe going, but he got enough money over to Hugh Jackman, who said he would never play Wolverine again. He's going to suit up one last time. He's coming back. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, Deadpool 3. How are we feeling, gentlemen?
Dude, that threw me for a loop. I was like watching it on the train. I'm like, yo, what is this? I need to keep watching. Hurry up. And then he gets to he's back on the couch talking, monologuing. And then he said, and then you see a very big man in the background. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And he says the most handsomest names ever. And Hugh. Hey Hugh, you want to be Wolverine again? Yeah, sure, Ryan. Oh my God. Music to my ears, orgasm, orgasm, unicorn everywhere, unicorn come everywhere, whatever Deadpool loves. Oh my God, that was I was not expecting that. I
Dude, it was
truly,
shocking. It
yeah,
was shocking.
and it's crazy they just announced it like that. But who other person to announce it, and what other way to announce it than with Ryan Reynolds doing it? So it makes perfect sense. It's great marketing. Ryan Reynolds is just is a good person who knows how to market. He's a good marketer. I don't know if that's the term, but it was genius. It was perfect. Oh my God, the sarcasm and the chemistry those two assholes have together. I say that assholes like it loosely because they're assholes to each other and they're hilarious with each other. So this is what we've been fucking waiting for since the first Deadpool, I think, like
I mean, it was either Wolverine or Spider-Man. We needed one of them
right.
to cross over with Deadpool because those are two of his more famous like besties in the
Yeah.
Deadpool
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
Uh,
And then just one
yeah.
thing to add before I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle because I have to keep reminding myself we are one step closer to having Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, and pretty much kind of some of the OG cast, and even Patrick Stewart if he comes back, all on the same screen. The fucking 2000s of our kids' generation potentially back on the same screen at some point. There is a chance. I'm not giving up hope. And neither am I comic book buddies. One of them pointed it out. Kel, a shout out to you. You pointed it out. We're pretty much close to having Hugh Jackman and Toby sharing a screen together, maybe potentially,
How are
since
you
everything else.
feeling about this news, Anthony?
I think I'm gonna cry out of happiness because that was never thought you were gonna see that happening. I wonder what they're gonna do for and this is just me getting ahead of myself, but what are they gonna choose for his outfit to wear as Wolverine's outfit? Are they gonna do the the shirt and the jacket thing? Are they gonna do the yellow and blue? Are they gonna do the what's the original, like the brownish color or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Um I remember, I think it was like a teaser for either Deadpool 1 or 2 where he's trying to save the person by changing in the phone booth and the guy gets killed. He's like, what if it was Wolverine? What does he have to wear? He wears fucking t-shirt and jeans. So,
Um,
so,
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and
Please do.
this
Please
is
do.
gonna be
Please do.
immortalized in the historical significance of the internet. I think he's gonna wear the costume.
You really think so?
I think that if it was, it's been a very long time. They've teased it already, but the main reason I think he's gonna wear the costume is because Deadpool wears a costume,
Yeah.
and Deadpool will fourth wall break that Wolverine, Hugh Jackman has to wear the actual costume at least. I think that you can't.
Time to suit up,
This is like that old thing about like you show a gun in Act 1, you have to use it in Act 3. Like they showed the gun like 5 years ago, and we've just been waiting,
hmm
waiting, and then I mean, this is getting ahead of ourselves here, but like he's dead. Like
Yeah,
Logan died. So,
in a different universe.
well, that's the thing. Like, they kind of complicated this a little bit with Doctor Strange because it's like in some universes, the character it looks completely different, and in other and in sometimes they're played by the exact same person.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I could think of, and unless they just want to start multiversing the shit out of every movie they make, is that this is occurring during a different timeline because we don't really know like when the Deadpool movies are taking place.
No clue.
So he could technically still be alive, or like you said, could be a different universe Wolverine, which who better to wear the costume than a Wolverine that's from a different universe because the one in our universe doesn't want to wear it. Yeah, this is.
Okay.
I mean, I remember thinking like, outside of John Krasinski showing up in Doctor Strange, which is something else I thought I would never see.
Right.
This is just because of the circumstances of the character being dead in the movies and the actor who plays him being like, I'm never gonna play him again. I mean,
Please stop
I don't.
asking.
Yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but I was just like, okay, like it's over. Like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, like made some great movies. We had a good time.
Had a good run.
Yeah, like time to cast somebody else. They'll figure it out. There's like plenty of people out there they can go with. And they decided to not go with any of them and to bring back Hugh Jackman for one last ride, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe this is, maybe he got that itch. Maybe he wants to do more movies, and this is step one.
Maybe.
But this is wildly exciting.
There's something to be excited for, right? Like for him. Like
Yeah,
that's why he was enticed to do it. Like cause like he didn't have to give anything more. He did it for over 20 years. Practically. I
yeah.
think when did Logan come out? 20 what? Oh no, I got 17.
16,
2017.
17?
Yeah,
2017.
2017.
He almost did it for fucking 20 years.
Yeah,
He did it from 2000. Or I mean, or if you want to think about it, he probably started like, they started the casting and then got casted and filming in 2000. So yeah, over
yeah.
17 years he was dead. He was signed on to that role. They didn't play it every year, obviously, but he was dedicated to that role when they called him. And he didn't have anything more to give. In fact, he gave a great ending to the performance. It
He
was
should have won an Oscar. Like I can't remember
yeah.
who else was nominated, but Hugh Jackman in Logan was. I mean, you could argue that should have been Best Picture.
The
Like that
last,
movie was
yeah, it
just
was great.
incredible.
The last line, I think what he said was, "So that's what that feels like."
Yeah,
Excellent.
dude, you're gonna make me cry.
I'm
Why
sorry.
are you?
It's amazing. It's just like, but you know what it is too. It's just like either, and let's face it, it's always money, but there's also a combo of things. But like he clearly wants to give the fans what they want. He wouldn't do it
Yeah,
without because Ryan has been calling for it. We've been calling for it. He's on Twitter. He's active on social media.
yeah.
You know, he's not an idiot. He can't ignore it. It's in his face, especially when Ryan's in his face teasing him about it.
And that's the good thing with the internet is like with Mr. Fantastic and John Krasinski.
Exactly. Great point.
People they want it, and if you really push for it and you're not a dick about it, it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't be a dick about it. The internet bullied a whole studio to change the way Sonic looks. So,
But that was
Well, yeah,
just.
well, that
I mean, I'm
yeah,
just
that's
kidding.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
that-
It's just
We
I mean,
saved Sonic's life.
Yeah.
in
we
that
did
instance.
absolutely. It's so
especially
far a successful
because
franchise.
I like those movies and I hate Sonic.
I
But
know you do. This is fucking
like,
phenomenal. It's ridiculous. Back to Marvel, but like, oh my god, like I just I guess in my mind, I'm just rationalizing and I'm saying like, yeah, I think he's doing it for the fans. He's doing it for himself and the fans.
Well, it's funny because a few months ago, Feige did like his 10-year plan for like phase 5 and 6 or whatever. And, I'm sure like some of those discussions internally are about like casting and they've got the Secret Wars is the movie. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Secret Invasion is the show and Secret Wars is the movie, which I think is the end of phase 5, maybe phase 6. I can't remember how far off that is. But anyway, Feige plans this stuff out really far in advance. And the one thing he did mention recently was like, we're not going to get any X-Men movies for a long time,
Yeah.
which in the movie world, that could be 2 years, that could be 5 years, could be 10 years. Like, I don't really know what that means.
Hmm.
But when when he's doing all these like, plans for 10 years out, like I would imagine that when he was doing the plans for phases 3 and 4, that's when he started workshopping, how do I get Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire to come back?
Sure.
And so, we don't know if we're going to see either of those versions of Spider-Man again. I wouldn't rule it out, but we just don't know.
Hmm.
There's a chance that maybe he came up with some sort of pitch that either starts with Deadpool 3 and is like, this is how we introduce Wolverine, who they've already hinted at in She-Hulk is out there.
Yes, you're
So
right.
maybe partially we should have been like expecting. I think we just like, the one thing that I keep coming back to is like, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is one of the few instances where I'm like, even though he played that character for like his whole life, basically,
Hmm.
like his whole adult life
Right.
he spent playing Wolverine, I just never wanted him to be recast. Like I never wanted anyone else to play that
It's
character.
hard. It
And
really is
like,
hard.
So,
yeah, like I thought the only other people, because like Spider-Man gets recast like every few years. Like we're so used to different
Batman,
versions of Peter Parker.
Superman.
Yeah.
yeah.
Batman, Superman. I think Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is like one of the other like golden casting where it's like, how do you like, you have to
Yeah.
kill the character because like you can't, like, how are you going to cast somebody else to play Iron Man?
Well, that's why
Right.
Riri's exist now.
So a couple of things. You mentioned there was a hint in She-Hulk. I
Yes.
missed that hint. What was that?
She was in a bar. I think it was with like talking to one of her like her friend from the law office, and they passed by a newspaper clipping that said like, man with metal claws like gets into bar fight or something,
Yeah.
and everybody was
Oh
freaking
wow.
out that like, oh shit, like Hulk, Wolverine, like is that going to be Wolverine's re-debut?
Well,
um
funny thing then, now that you mentioned that, because I missed it completely, but the Insomniac teaser for Wolverine is in a bar scene.
Yep.
And then another hint they've had placed before, potential spoiler for those who didn't finish Miss Marvel, but apparently she has the mutant gene, so there was that also throw in of, hey, we're gonna get mutants and we're gonna get
Well,
X-Men and
you must have missed it. They just confirmed that Neymar's a mutant, just like
yes
that.
sir.
Just like that. They
oh, the
just
guy for the Black Panther sequel.
They just
Yeah.
said just they
Yeah,
just came out and flat out and said that like
I
he's a
missed
mutant.
that as well. But last thing I wanted to mention before we continue going on is with this movie, if it's going to be either just them two or we're going to have like a little mini X-Men Avengers with Deadpool, Wolverine, Cable, Colossus, Negasonic,
Negasonic.
Domino, um,
Give me my
and
Russian baby. Give me my Russian, damn it.
Colossus.
Colossus.
And like, I'm going to, I know this is not going to happen because we already got Hugh Jackman, but if they decide to say, hey, fuck it, we're going to throw in Holly Berry as well. Like, but it's not
Cause
gonna
she ain't
happen.
doing shit.
It ain't gonna
Okay, that's
happen.
true.
But if it did, like, holy shit.
Do you guys think, because I was like, there's obviously, I want Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
um if you had to choose, assuming let's just say that this is a one-off and he doesn't play Wolverine again after this, would would you have preferred if he played Wolverine in the first MCU X-Men movie, or you get your Wolverine Deadpool crossover, but you never see him? Like you get Wolverine in the X-Men, but you don't get Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
Uh, it's tough because
Want
I
me to go
know
first?
yeah, go ahead, man.
I could live with the him only doing the Deadpool movie and a new Wolverine in the X-Men MCU. Mainly because I think it'll be if they don't do it properly of like, hey, he was in Deadpool 3, now he's gonna appear in the X-Men movie and have it make sense. I think going back to that other mention of in the multiverse, some characters look different in different universes. I think I'll be okay with it. Kind of like a hey, Deadpool is not part of the MCU, but multiverse. So when we do an X-Men movie, it's new Wolverine, new Storm, new Cyclops.
Sure.
The only one that I would rather keep, just because I know Hugh Jackman is eventually going to retire it anyway, Patrick Stewart can't be replaced for Professor X.
Well, he's already has been.
I mean,
Right.
technically he
If
can.
they do like an old man version, like yeah,
Sure.
Oh,
like
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
but
never. Gotta just
yeah,
use
if they're
him.
gonna keep if they're gonna like the younger one, then you get James McAvoy. But
yeah.
um, at that point, you just keep going with okay, we're gonna use James McAvoy again. We're gonna use Michael Fassbender again. Like
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I,
But
yeah.
I think this would be Hugh Jackman's like final. Hey, I did it for the fans and we had a lot of fun with it. Now it's time to pass it on to the next person. At least it won't be passed on as often as Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
Sure,
Right.
sure. Good point. Yeah.
Do you think that, well, okay. I shared with you guys the poster for the movie, which is the Deadpool logo with
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine claws shredding through it.
Mm-hmm.
How involved in this movie do you think Wolverine will actually be?
Good
Like,
point. They could easily troll us. They could
I
easily.
mean, okay, I think like obviously they're paying him a lot of money, so they're not doing that for him to only be in the movie for like 10 minutes. But
Mm,
like we don't really know what Deadpool 3 is about, and based on the first two movies, they're not really related. Like
sure.
it's kind of they're just like picking different adventures for him to go on.
Yeah.
So, do you think this is like the geek dream is that this is a buddy cop movie featuring Deadpool and Wolverine for 2 hours? Do we actually think that Wolverine's going to be in most of the movie, or do you think this is like, 1 hour of Deadpool doing random shit and cracking jokes, and then 30 minutes to the end of the film, Wolverine shows up, kicks ass, and then like that's it.
It's a great. It's an interesting it's an interesting way to like frame and like perspective and something to think about. I just I can't I don't know. I can't really think so much about it, but to answer the question, I don't know. I could see it being easily t him just being 10 minutes as a joke.
Mm,
But I don't think maybe not even 20, like 30 minutes for sure. Like 30 minutes minimum, I think is for sure going to be the requirement for Mr. Jackman to fulfill his contractual duties to the MCU and Disney. But if it's going to be a feature length film, which I'm trying to think how long the last Deadpool was, um, he might just be in the movie for most of it. He could be, with a send off that leads into maybe,
Um,
saying like, hey, like I like this is a new Wolverine. One thing that maybe that they could do and tie in, just hear me out, was Cable. You know how Cable was, kind of teleporting and going to different dimensions or
mhm.
going back in the past. That's how Deadpool 2 technically ended with him. Like he fixed it, and so he went back in time and fucked up a lot of shit,
right.
and even shooting Ryan Reynolds, which was himself.
So
So, what I'm getting at is like that's where it could lead, and he winds up being stuck in like an X-Men movie, and like
Mm.
that's where like it just takes place like in a point in an X-Men movie. Could be even X Wolverine Origins because that was the worst one. And he just drops in there. It's like, listen, buddy, this movie's gonna go south, really pretty bad. Well, let me take this in a better direction for you.
so I'm gonna say he's gonna be in a good chunk of the movie, not just like a small part, because the last one was about 2 hours, and the whole big thing was putting Cable in the movie.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And this one, I mean, the poster has the three as his claw
Yeah,
marks. So
yeah,
he's got to be in a good chunk of the movie. But what I don't want to see is the versus type bullshit where you see like they fight for most for they have like two fight scenes throughout the movie and then they team up at the end.
yeah.
I don't want that bullshit. I don't want a Godzilla versus Kong, Freddy versus Jason bullshit. I want that kind of like the buddy cop thing because you know that
Sure.
they both have their ways of talking shit, but Wolverine's talking shit is more of a badass, talking
Mhm.
shit, and Deadpool's more of a silly card, talking shit. So I want to see that dynamic between the two of like the odd couple type of thing. Two odd, they're not really the
Yeah.
same people, but so I want to see that rather than that versus bullshit. Yeah, maybe they'll have like one fight scene that'd be kind of funny. He probably stabs him in the
Sure.
balls and the heels, and like with the claws, just stab him in his
Yeah.
balls. I don't know. So that'll be pretty good to see.
Oh, one other idea, last idea, is that they could wind up him like in conjunction with what I said, like him teleporting to different like points in time, it could just be that, like Hugh Jackman reprising each role that he played. Like he winds up in Logan, he winds up in X1, in Origins, and 2, and X3,
Yeah.
and even Days of Future Past. Like they're known to
Mm.
do that continuity because they've done it in the movies. I don't know, will they keep that because it was from Century Fox, but that's an idea that they could do it, and so that's in a way a cop out. But like that's how they can get him in the movie. Maybe that's how he agreed to it. It's like he'll just
Well,
replace roles and scenes from his favorite scenes from his favorite movie roles, which
it
was
is interesting
bad.
that you mentioned this because technically these two characters have already met each other
Exactly.
in the first really, really bad Wolverine solo movie,
Hmm.
which I, for one, am going to be incredibly disappointed if there is not a full roast session dedicated in this film to just absolutely
Es-
torching that film.
Yeah.
Especially since he went to that movie in the previous one
Yeah.
and shot his other self and
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
just rapid fire.
it is pretty interesting that they have already met, although they met in Wolverine's movie and not Deadpool's movie. And
Right.
Deadpool has a very different movie universe than Wolverine. But this is one of the more shocking casting announcements or movie announcements that I can remember
Yeah, that
in
shit
a
was
pretty
crazy.
long time. Like, and we haven't even seen a trailer. Like, this is literally a casting announcement, which, part of me was thinking back to Doctor Strange when Mr. Fantastic showed up, when we were like, holy shit. Like, we had no idea.
No idea.
So, and I remember talking to Frankie, like, damn, man, that was the first time that I can remember in the age of the internet and like everything being on the internet all the time
Yep.
that we didn't get spoiled, or that we didn't even I didn't even hear rumors that, like, oh, Krasinski's gonna be part of
Right,
Doctor Strange.
right, right.
So there is a part of me that's like, I mean, I'm very excited, and it's like awesome talking about Wolverine, specifically Hugh Jackman Wolverine coming back. And then there's like a tiny part of me that's like, am I like missing out by going to the movie theater for Deadpool 3 and then being like, holy fucking shit, is that Hugh Jackman Wolverine in this movie? Like, I had no idea, because we're not going to get that. The trade-off is that we get to be really excited now and speculate on like what, his involvement is going to be and what the story of the film's going to be. But there is always going to be a small part of me that's like, damn, part of me misses the days of like not
Yeah.
knowing until you sat down in the
Yeah.
theater.
So I think for that, it's I see what you're saying because with Mr. Fantastic, it was like holy shit, it came out of nowhere. But I think with this one, the trade-off you're gonna get is you don't know when in the movie he's gonna be.
Yeah.
So it could just be a random scene that he walks in, or he's gonna do something really bad. He has to have a badass entrance in the movie. He has
Mhm.
to. And if what Frankie said about him going to the different movies to make fun of, you got to make fun of the tight black suit. Got to make fun of the Origins movie or something. Um, but I mean honestly, I don't. I'm just. Oh, wait, let me ask you this: are they still keeping it rated R for this one?
Who
Allegedly.
knows?
Because if
Allegedly.
if they are, because the only time other than Logan, it was First Class where they go to recruit him and he says, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to see him do more of that, like letting loose thing. So if they don't make it rated R, that's gonna be unfortunate. Even though the first two movies are on Disney Plus anyway. So
Yeah. Oh, quick
Yeah, I
question for
mean,
you guys.
yeah, they said it was gonna still be R, but we'll see.
Question for you guys. I know you mentioned the suit already, but does he wear the mask? And if he does, for how long?
Mm,
yeah, I'm trying to picture him with the mask on now.
You can't
my
you
like
can't hide that
as
handsome
soon as
face.
Anthony mentioned Wolverine's entrance,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have him enter with the suit on. Like, you might as well knock everything out all at once. Just like have his entrance be with the suit, because immediately Deadpool will comment on the fact that he's wearing the suit. Like, he
Yeah,
has
Yeah.
break the
already
fourth wall,
didn't, like, one of the movies, he
fanboy.
like had a picture of Hugh Jackman that he put on his face.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
so like he knows what he looks like. He knows literally who Hugh Jackman is. Not
Yeah.
even Wolverine. He knows the actor Hugh Jackman. Like, he has got to comment on wearing the suit. So I would think if you're gonna introduce him, you have to just introduce him fully dressed, blue and yellow. He's got the mask
Or
on. Like
orange. Or orange.
I I mean, I would
Yeah.
love that, but I feel like most mainstream people know blue and yellow Wolverine.
Or all
Um,
of them, because it could just turn into multiverse of madness.
I mean, that's true.
You know
Yeah.
what?
I
At
mean,
this
like,
point,
yeah, I
they
would love that.
should do his scenes in both suits, and then have like when the Blu-ray releases, have a version that has just the other color suit. But let me ask you this: so in the second movie, he makes a Thanos comment, but now that it's going to be MCU, do you think he's going to make any more Thanos references? Because there was in the comics, or some of the comics, the whole thing about the Infinity Stones was Deadpool was also in love with Death, and Thanos wanted the stones to kill off enough people in the universe to impress Death, and so him and Deadpool had that like love rivalry thing. So that'll be something cool to, I guess, see if Thanos gets a mention or something.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm thinking about this now because I haven't actually heard for sure, maybe one way or the other. Maybe you guys have. Is this movie confirmed to be part of the MCU?
I haven't heard anything so far. It could be.
Well, because he said
Because
they missed D23, so I assume that's part of the whole Disney thing, therefore MCU thing, right?
yeah, but maybe the fact that they didn't do it at D23 is hinting that they might, because neither of these characters are MCU characters. Like Deadpool 3 just so happens to be featuring two non-MCU characters. So there's no, and if they are going to have it rated R, there's no reason really to put it in the MCU. Like they could just have it be
Hmm.
its own separate thing. I mean, some of that maybe depends on if they're going to make more Deadpool movies after this.
I will say
But
this,
you know,
depending on when this releases, if it does stay rated R and it does become officially MCU, they at that point they got to make Blade a rated R, right? Like,
That's the other thing. That could be dependent on that, but I don't think Blade's going to be rated R. Moon Knight
oh,
should have been
it's
rated
definitely
R.
not.
Moon Knight should have been rated R. And it's not. It should have been a
yeah,
TVMA or at least a higher, like more violent show. I mean, sure it was violent and to an extent, sure enough,
yeah.
violent enough that some parents fucking complained, but it's not where it could or should be in terms of like the source material. So I don't think, you know, Wolverine will be have a rated R movie ever again, and I don't think Deadpool on its own should be rated R. And they said that they would, and Ryan Reynolds has been advocate about saying like, he won't do a movie if he can't be himself or if it's not rated R.
Right.
So we'll see. It's all speculation.
Speaking of, they make a non-rated R version of Deadpool 2? It's like the Christmas special one
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
he was
It,
talking.
it was just the same movie,
Yeah.
just PG-13.
So yeah, we could potentially see non-rated R Deadpool for MCU. But either way, I don't give a fuck. Hugh Jackman, Wolverine,
Yeah,
gimme, gimme.
I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm sold. I can't lie. It's pretty exciting stuff. Um,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know about you guys, but this movie shot to the top instantly of the superhero films I'm looking forward to.
Wow.
It was probably Captain America 4 because
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
just
happening.
kind of curious how all that's gonna work. But now it's Deadpool 3. I mean, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, like, are you kidding me? Of course. That
Hmm.
that's the one I want to see.
Especially because with Secret Wars, I was only looking forward to that if we were gonna get Black Suit Spider-Man, but who knows if that's gonna happen.
I mean, I think we are
Plus,
because didn't
how
Venom
far away is that though? Like that's like what, 2, 3 years away?
at least
What is
at
Secret
least
Wars?
Yeah.
No, I
yeah,
think it's coming out. Or what am I talking? Which one am I
that's a
thinking of?
ways off, I think.
We'll post the timeline of the phases on the video somewhere. But yeah, because I at some point, well, I mean, this could be the door opener for, because this comes out what, 2024, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Depending on when Secret Wars will release or not, this could finally be that door also for, hey, Spider-Man and Venom will finally have another crossover, but this time it won't be as crappy as fucking Topher Grace Spider-Man 3 bullshit. But
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, Secret
I
Wars is gonna allegedly looking at a 2025 release. So yeah,
yeah.
that could set up the movie. Who knows?
So I got
Potentially.
chills, man. I got chills. I'm
It's
excited.
exciting,
It's really
dude. This
exciting.
is yeah, this is kind of what I feel like the comic book movies have needed a moment like this, like something to really like this. If this doesn't pump you up, I don't know what to say. Like for people like
Especially,
us who like were, watched the original X-Men films and like basically followed Hugh Jackman's Wolverine character through so many movies,
Hmm.
uh this is pretty fucking exciting.
especially because you guys are asking me, "Hey, are you casting tonight?" And I'm like, "What are we casting on?" Like, I had a work meeting, and I was like, "I missed a lot. What's going on?"
Yeah.
Oh, random Twitter. Oh, it's Ryan Reynolds. Oh, it's Deadpool 3. Oh my God, it's Wolverine.
So many. Oh
Speaking
my
of,
God.
yeah, so a last minute thing I want to say for anyone who's listening, you mentioned we followed his career from the beginning. I used to hate X-Men too, but I've seen it like a few months ago recently again. It kind of holds up though. So like,
Oh yeah. Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah,
Him going berserk mode in the fucking mansion. Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, that
yeah,
was
so watch those movies. Don't watch Origins. The only thing you should watch in Origins is a scene where he slides on a motorcycle and he like drags the claws. Like that's the only thing you
yeah.
should watch in that movie. Oh, and when he gets the claws and he rips out of the water tank thing
I mean,
and
that's yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately one of the most iconic scenes in one of the worst movies ever made. Such a great scene and is trapped in this just shit bag of a movie.
Huge
And
Jackman.
then they tried to redo it and which one was it? It wasn't Apocalypse, right? It was the other one. It might have been Apocalypse. They tried to redo it
Yeah, it was
and he had the
Apocalypse.
helmet on and or whatever. Like
Oh,
Pretty sure it was
right.
Apocalypse.
yeah.
If
Weapon
it
X.
Man.
wasn't Apocalypse, it was Phoenix, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think it was Apocalypse. Yeah.
Holy
No, I
shit. I forget that Dark Phoenix movie came out. Oh my God.
think I saw it on like bootleg and I was just like
Wow. 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 Well, that is all we've got for you guys today. We are very excited about Hugh
Very.
Jackman Wolverine coming back. Deadpool 3 instantly, I think, on a lot of people's radar now as one
For
of the more
real.
hyped up movies coming out next year.
yeah.
Three Amigos, Pulse of the People. We try to cover all the breaking news when we can. We got all three of us today, so this is pretty exciting
Three for
time.
three, baby. 3 for 3.
3 for 3. Thank you, everybody, for listening, subscribing, Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you found us. We appreciate you. We will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.